So how do we reprogram our mind? How do we reprogram our brain? How do we really find the essence of who we are? And especially when it comes to spiritual awakening. This is much easier than most people think it can be, as long as you understand one thing. So if you're really interested in this, just keep watching the video. So how do we reprogram our minds? And as I said, when it comes to spiritual awakening, this is very important. Now, your spiritual awakening could come via a Kundalini Awakening or many other ways. But there comes to a point where we actually have to face who we are. Because in a spiritual awakening, what we're actually doing is we're becoming aware of our essence. And we're trying to get back to our essence. And so we have to run through our programming. Yes, our programming. Because you have to understand when you're born, you're with your essence. And then over time, from the word go, you receive external information. And that external information literally gets put into you just like a computer programmer running in code. And over time, all those external influences build up. And they build up into a personality, an ego, beliefs. And this is why one person born in one part of the world will have certain cultural and religious beliefs and think they're right. And another person in another place will have something different. So when we get to the point that we need to reprogram our minds, for example, when you get to the stage called Dark Night of the Soul, which is the hardest part to go through, how can we go through this stage easily? How can we get rid of all that negativity? How can we unravel all those things so quickly? Well, if we understand we are nothing but a program, and we have been programmed from external sources. When we catch ourselves consciously having a negative thought, and you truly understand that you are a computer program, you can become the coder, you can become the programmer. And so you catch yourself having a negative thought and say, no, I don't want to think like this anymore. Okay, so think to yourself, no, I don't want this negative thought anymore. Delete this part of the program. Or, no, I want to change these negative thoughts that I'm having into positive thoughts. So, right, I'm going to change the negative coding that I have within my brain, and I'm going to make sure it becomes positive coding by using positive statements. Now, this might sound ridiculously simple, but it is ridiculously simple. Every time you catch yourself with a negative thought or a biased belief, because in spiritual awakening, you'll realize any bias, any belief has to be shred, even down to the point of duality. What's good? What's bad? There is nothing good or bad when it comes to, if we look at the universal level, there is nothing good or nothing bad. Things get built, things get destroyed. Good and bad are nothing more than a point of view. So to truly spiritually awake the higher levels, you have to let go of this duality. And so if we catch ourselves, we simply say, no, this is a biased opinion. Delete this part of the code. Or reprogram this. This is a dualistic thought. I need to reprogram myself to have a non-dualistic thought. Therefore, I need to change this dualistic thought, because I'm thinking this is bad, into this isn't good or this isn't bad, this just is. Now I understand it might not happen for you on the first go. It does take a little bit of practice. However, the further down the road of your spiritual awakening or Kundalini Awakening, the further down the road you are, the easier you will actually find that this is. Now, if you don't believe that who you think you are, who your ego is nothing more than a whole chain of external events that have happened to you, being twisted and turned through beliefs and behaviors and memories, then you're going to have to understand that first, because it is the way it happens. No one forms a belief. No one has, for example, people think our emotions are our core. No. Emotions, an emotional response is a reaction to memory of past similar events. And so when something happens time and time and time again, it gets linked to an emotion. And so when something happens, our buttons get pushed. That is an emotional response built off memory. So even our emotions aren't actually true. We learn what is happiness because if we think about pain and pleasure, well, you can learn that pain can be pleasure. So we can twist these things so much. And therefore, what we have to do, for example, with the example, this is painful and I think it's pleasurable. Is this right? Now, if it's good for us, for example, having cold showers or ice baths, you could say, this is painful, I don't like this. Okay, that's a reaction to my program. I'm going to reprogram myself now and I'm going to think this is wonderful because it's stimulating good hormones. Sit there for a moment. Let the program rewrite itself. And then get back in that ice bath and see what happens. It's really that simple. If you understand that the coder, the programmer of your program, if you take responsibility for it, is you, then you literally can reprogram your mind. One thought at a time. Of course, the more you practice this, the faster it becomes. You have a negative thought. Oh, no, stop myself. That's a negative thought. I don't want that. That's a negative belief. I don't want that. Delete that bit of the program. And you'll find, if you sit there and you consciously say to yourself, delete that bit of the program, then over time, you will start having less negative thoughts. You will start to become more positive. And this can go even further. Again, I don't know how far you guys are down your spiritual awakening, but there comes a point when we can connect to our higher selves and we can actually understand things we didn't know. We can learn things from out there. And if you trust your higher self, you can then actually say, okay, now I'm going to let my higher self pass me information I don't know and let it reprogram me to reprogram my mind even faster. And the more you do this, the more you will release those biases and all that negative programming, and the more simple and the more organized your program will become, and the closer you'll get back to your essence. This might be a very strange concept for many people, and their ego might not let them say, I'm more than just a computer program. Well, just stop and think and say, well, why do I think this? Did this come from me? Or did this come from a series of events that chose me to believe this way and have filters that make me feel this way? And of course the answer is yes. Because everything you know is external. Everything you've learned has come externally. So just a very simple little trick that is so powerful that no one talks about. You are the programmer, you are the coder. Sit down when you catch yourself, say to yourself, delete this part of the program or change this negative part of my programming into a positive thing. Simple as that. What do you think about it? Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could try that? If you think this is good advice, then please write a comment down below so YouTube knows that you guys like this and so it can give it to more people, so this can help more people. The same as hitting that like button, the same as sharing it with other people, the same as by subscribing and hitting that alert button, and you can get more content by doing that and know when it comes out if you do. So please do those few little things as well if you found this useful. If you're not sure, go away, think about it, test it, come back, write a comment. Hey, I've been testing this for 30 days. Wow, it's changed my life. Because it will if you really do go and do it. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in another video.